Alright, y'all. Hello and welcome back. It is Friday, my favorite day. You know, we always have fun here on Fridays. We're going to be taking a look at some automotive content because, well, it's my favorite. Taking a look at some vehicles from Europe that I've never heard of. At least that's what this article is called. It should be pretty interesting. I believe this is 11 vehicles to be exact. And it might as well be 100 because there's so many vehicles in Europe. I've understood from so many different countries that I, definitely don't recognize. Although I've learned about quite a few in the last few years, so maybe I'm hoping I'll know all of these, but I think the chances of that are quite low. All right, let's jump right into it. Number one, the Tushek Renovatio T500. Starting it off with something very obscure. Yeah, I'll be honest, never heard of this. 2012, Slovenian racing driver Alhoa. Let's go with Alhoa. Tushek formed his self-named company out of a former military airport where he also built a test track. You know, it's so interesting how many fascinating things have been formed at like airports but it's, that don't have to do with planes, right? That don't have to do with aircraft. Because I guess like an airport would be awesome to have, right? It's so much like a land and it's really like nice and flat and you can do a lot with it. And you got hangars and runways. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Having an airport as a test grounds for a vehicle, a high performance vehicle, would be a freaking dream, dude. Anyway, he had bought a K1 attack kit car and planned to sell upgraded versions of the vehicle. That didn't scratch his itch. As I'm scratching an itch, by the way, that is hilarious. So the Renovatio was born weighing 2,400 pounds and some ounces. That is extremely light. It is an Audi RS4 V8 engine. Okay, an Audi V8 in this light, exotic vehicle. That sounds like a ton of fun. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.7 seconds. Of course, that is extremely fast. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. Really light. I'm sure it handles really well. It's, very tossable. And the acceleration is extremely fast. He plans on building more. A 950 horse. TS 900. That sounds insane. Have we almost reached a point where cars are just ridiculous? And I mean that in a good way, but how much faster can we really get here, right? I mean, 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds is phenomenal. That is really fast. I don't think some people understand how fast that is. That is fast. That should be rare. And it was like, if we go back to the 90s, yeah, what was going 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds? Like basically nothing. Maybe a couple cars on Earth. But now, sub 4 second 0 to 60s is like almost common, dare I say? Like there's so many cars that will do that. It's messed up, honestly. But yeah, let's check out some pics of this thing. You can see here. Let me get you a view. There we go. Yeah, this thing is awesome. Only 3 pictures. Whoa. I mean, this thing is one of those where it's like, first of all, I bet this is not legal in the US because, good old freedom US, we actually miss out on a lot of cars. There's too much regulation when it comes to vehicles. As an automotive enthusiast, we can't stand it over here because we miss out on so much. But I'm sure this is legal in Europe, of course, like in every country. Yeah, that thing is awesome. It looks interesting. You know what? I'm almost getting, I'm getting hints of one of my favorite Ferraris ever was like the 430 Scuderia, right? Or even just the F430. And, I could kind of see similar taillight shapes. And then, if we're talking about the Scud, right? It had the exhaust coming out the bumper like this. I kind of see that, a little bit of influence from that, which is cool, right? So I like that element of the car. I'll be honest, though. It's a little underwhelming. Like, yeah, would I love to drive this? Of course I would, right? I'm not talking smack. This is a cool car. I do like the gold wing doors, that's pretty exotic, but I don't know. It's a little bit like a video gamey, right? It's not, maybe it's because it's in white. Maybe this would look good in different colors. Let me look that up. So let's just do search Google and we want images, right? I mean, this is a Slovenian car. That's cool, right? I didn't know Slovenia made any exotic cars, and yet here we are. So this thing is cool. I will say it looks a little better from the front. We've only seen it from like the rear 3/4 angles. But I appreciate it. I like it. I'm not talking smack. I think it's cool that Slovenia can say that this exotic car came from there. I like it a lot. I'm just saying for fun, if we're judging each car, first impressions, It's not my favorite looking car. I see some of the subtle inspirations. I like it. Unfortunately, some cars give off that kit car kind of vibe. Some kit cars look awesome. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's more of just like, it just falls a little short. Moving on to number 2, we have the Mini Moke. And the Mini Moke was originally developed as a prototype for military use by the original creators of the Mini. Okay, so this was a lightweight, roofless design car with low ground clearance and small wheels. What the hell? You know what? I almost feel like I've heard of this name. I don't know even where I would have heard that, but I'm not recognizing it down here. This is hilarious. I like how there's, girls posing on it as if it was like a hot rod or something, but it's a Mini Moke. This thing is awesome. It's obviously dorky. It's not a super slick, piercing looking vehicle, but you know what? It's utilitarian. It almost looks like a golf cart to me, like a little oversized golf cart or something. I mean, this woman pictured here really looks like she likes it a lot. Yeah, this is funny. This is one of those ones where it'd be like a novelty to drive, and this will turn heads. Maybe not in Europe. I don't know how common these are, but if you brought this to the U.S. and you went to a car show or a Cars and Coffee, and this would gather a swarm of people, probably more than an exotic car. You know what? I actually like it better with that canvas top on there. This thing is freaking hilarious. Again, I don't even know how this was street legal. I'm not arguing. I like that it was. It's hilarious. It's like literally just a little bucket with wheels and an engine. I mean, could you get any more basic and utilitarian than this? This might win for the most basic car on earth. For sale USA. Let's see what these are going for. And bring a trailer. Holy crap. These are going for a lot of money. I'm sorry, but no offense. Why? Some of these are electric. Look at this, 2022. What? Moke America? They make these in the U.S.? or not make them in the U.S. They sell them here. I doubt they make them here. But you know what I meant. This is crazy. Wow, it's so interesting. What is this thing? The Qvale or Qvale? How do you pronounce that? I'm going to go with Qvale. Mangusta. Alejandro de Tomaso, father of the Pantera. Now, I've definitely heard of that. Needed a business partner for a car called the Bigua. In 1996, he went to an American car importer called Qvale. Really? Who dealt with American imports of Panteras and Maserati vehicles. The idea was to create an Italian TVR. Now, that sounds fun. On paper, it sounded amazing. It was designed by a Formula One designer. It had the 4.6 liter supplied by Ford. That's awesome because they use that in, some trucks, but they use it, of course, in the Ford Crown Victoria, the Mercury Grand Marquis. I love those. And, of course, the Mustang as well. So this was like some modern, like the De Tomaso Pantera was like the 70s, right? This was like some newer European, like I said, like an Italian TVR with like an American heart, right? It was launched in 1999. So I'm assuming these are rather rare. And it sounds like these were sold maybe in the U.S. as well, but they're definitely like a European car. Very interesting design on this guy here. Right? I don't know if I like it. Okay, I kind of do. The rear quarters shot here is cool. It's got some interesting taillights going on. They're like smoked. I'll be honest, the proportions are a little weird, but because it's got a V8, this thing is probably, this thing's like a pocket rocket, right? I mean, look at that interior too. It is like a European interior, so it's actually really nice inside. I don't know. This car is almost so weird that it works. I kind of like it. I feel like it looks small, but I mean, you have a 4.6 liter V8, which is it's powerful. It sounds good. They're actually really reliable. Super easy to maintain. So like, this is kind of a good car. I guess let's just go straight to Bring a Trailer. It's the easiest to see what these are going for. Okay, so these go for quite a range here. I don't know why this is there. That made the price look really weird there. So these are all around like the $20,000 to $30,000 US dollar range, which I suppose is pretty fair. I mean, let's click on this one. This one's low mile, and it went for $24,000. I feel like that's kind of a good deal. Having this in the US would be, I've never seen one of these in my life, so it would be very unique. It would definitely turn heads. Look at this. Now, what's funny is it's got in my opinion, like kind of a European interior. You know, you got the leather, you got the tan or cream colors in there. I think it's cool. I love that it's a manual, 100%. That is like the best thing ever. But this almost looks like a Ford instrument cluster, which is hilarious. I feel like I'm looking at a Mustang when I'm looking at that. And then, of course, looking at that power plant, which is beautiful. 320 horsepower, 314 foot-pounds of torque, and had a Borg-Warner T45 5-speed manual. I'm kind of liking this more and more. It's weird. But you know what? Having this, I will kind of admit this, having this would probably be more exciting than a 2000 Mustang. So this is cool. Then we had the MGX Power SV. What the heck? This thing is awesome. First impressions, I love it, right? This one's also kind of bizarre, but the kind of bizarre I like, right? I like it a lot, actually. Proportions are awesome on this. Kind of got a longer front end and then, you know, really snug towards the rear of the vehicle. You know, this had an F1 exterior designer help out with this. And this was exclusively sold in the European and Asian markets. Only one of them somehow were sold new in the U.S. I don't even know how that works because we've never had MGs here. So, yeah, that's beyond my pay grade there. But this is pretty freaking cool. Let's take a look at these first pictures. Yeah, I like this thing a lot. I know, you know, really nothing about MG because as far as I know, at least in the modern era, you know, 80s to now, we've never had MGs here. So we miss out on all those. I've never even heard of this. You know, the interior is very cool. It's very, you know, race car or like, you know, sports car like. I will admit, to me, remember, this might be common knowledge to Europeans, but to me, you know, I've never seen one. So I like it, but it almost looks like it's something out of a video game, right? Like someone took a screenshot from, you know, Grand Theft Auto or something. I hope that doesn't come across wrong, but that's what I think of. It's very different. Let's go ahead and search Google for this as well. I mean, this one's really rare, so I think a lot more, you know, some of these were rare too, but maybe not as extreme low production as this. These aren't coming through Bring a Trailer. Go figure, right? I wonder if it shows any of these sold. Yeah, these still retain a good amount of value, it looks like. You know, we have a couple sold here. Look at this one. Whoa. Gee, it looks pretty mean in black. I mean, a lot of cars do, typically. But this thing looks awesome, actually. I have a feeling this vehicle would be a lot of fun to drive. I think we can all agree on that. And it seems to go for around 40,000 euros up to 69,000 euros. But, you know, a lot of these are, like this one is 38,000 pounds. I feel like that's not terrible. You know, I mean, it is an almost 20-year-old vehicle, granted. So it is like you could call it like a mild collector car. You know, it's not worth hundreds of thousands, but it's definitely creeping up there, it looks like. And funnily enough, the only one in this list that was sold in the USA was sold in Illinois. Go figure. I guess I'll keep an eye out on the streets out there. Next up, we have the Mazzanti Evantra. Whoa, this is kind of cool. These are all like really rare, kind of low, like obscure companies, sort of kit cars, like low production vehicles. So that's kind of interesting other than a mini moke. But yeah, this thing is powered by a Chevy LS. I mean, who can argue with that? I think even Europeans agree that's great motors. They scream. They're extremely easy to build and swap into anything. They're reliable. This thing is freaking quick. 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. And a top speed of over 217 miles per hour. That is insane. It actually has both road and track versions available. It's almost 800 horsepower. Again, though, it's kind of like the Slovenian one. I don't know why I almost get the same vibe from this car. It looks cool. Something about it, it looks too short, right? I guess with exotic-looking designs, they kind of work better when they're just a little elongated. This thing's like too compact. But maybe that's what they're going for, right? I mean, I'll be honest with you. Seeing this shot of the doors are like really weird. They open backwards. Yeah, the doors open backwards. The door opening is extremely small. Yeah, your boy here, I'm not fitting in this at all. That would be content right there. An American tries to get into the Mazzanti, whatever, Mazzanti Evantra. Yeah, that ain't happening. That is actually hilarious. The Lotec Sirius is next. Again, I've never heard of it. This is a German company. They've done race cars before, worked on body panels for Porsches. Then they just decided to do their own production supercar called the Sirius. This had the same Mercedes-Benz V12 that the Pagani Zonda had. And yeah, you're over 1,000 horsepower at that point. That is pretty cool. What do you take, a Zonda or this, right? What's more dialed in? I like this. The proportions are a little bit better than some of the other cars we saw. That engine is magnificent. What a work of art. I like this. I like this more than almost everything I've seen on the list. This looks like a Hot Wheels. The proportions are awesome on this thing. It's got so much glass. I don't even see an A-pillar, so I don't even know how this works. The roof is like a floating disc. The rear of the vehicle is stunning. This thing is awesome, actually. I actually really like this. That's where I'm going with this. I like it. For some reason, it's low slung. It's really wide, and it just looks like a beast. And the fact that this thing is 1,000 horsepower, I'm actually a little bit scared of this thing. Then we go down to the Daimler Double-Six. Now, I'm really confused because this looks like a Jag to me. I'm no Jaguar expert, but it looks exactly like a Jaguar. So let's see what this is about. It was essentially a rebadged Jaguar with a better finish. Okay, it was like an upgrade of the famous XJ12 Coupe and sedan, available from 93 to 97. Wow, so this is bizarre. This is one of those where it's like, I have a car you've never heard of, and they think, I've seen Jags before. And then you're like, look at the badge. This is hilarious. This is cool. I know nothing about it, and I'm willing to bet some of you watching didn't either. Now, finally, this might be the first car I've actually heard of. We have the Renault 5 Turbo. And I have heard of this because basically of this channel, and through you guys, you teach me a lot. And, we have been into rally now for a couple years because of this channel, because you guys have taught me so much. I absolutely love Group B and the 90s, Group A, and everything since, rally racing is just insane. I love it. It's the best. And this reminds me of rally, right? Because if we scroll down, look at that. This thing is awesome, right? It's got the wide body kit. It's a hot hatch, but it's extremely aggressive looking. I freaking love this thing. I don't even need to read about it because I've heard of it. I've seen a video on it. I freaking love this car. I would love to test drive one of these. I feel like that these are just awesome, right? If there's one thing that Europe has always been the king of, and now, Japan has come close, but it's hot hatches. I mean, European hot hatches, to me, they're just the best. They hit different. They know what they're doing. Even in the 80s, they did. That leads us to number 9, the Spania GTA Spano. Wow. What a interesting vehicle. I've never heard of this one. Based around Dodge Viper V10 engines, it debuted in 2013. However, it had a supercharger, bringing the power up to 900 horsepower and 738 foot-pounds of torque. As if the V10 wasn't enough, it's supercharged. That had to be a big supercharger to fit on there. It worked with a Spanish nanotechnology company called Grafano and claims to use graphene in the bodywork to improve structural rigidity. Damn, this thing is literally out of a video game. Holy crap. Look at that interior. My goodness. That is spectacular. I like the interior a lot. Wow. Look at those pedals. This thing is serious. Is this all carbon fiber back here? You know what? I kind of don't like it and love it at the same time. Like, I first look at it and I'm like, what the hell is this? But I kind of like it. I don't know. This thing's probably really freaking fast. Then we have the Adamastor P003RL. Definitely not winning the name awards with this one. This is from Portugal, though. So I didn't even know Portugal had a supercar, but here we are. I mean, this is like a track car, tubular aluminum frame, adjustable suspension, lightweight composite bodywork, a reliable engine, rather. In this case, Ford EcoBoost in 4 or 6-cylinder form. That's cool that you can get different ones. So this is road legal. And take a look at this thing. This is pretty wicked. I'll say this. I think the front is pretty cool, right? It's got good dimensions. I love the hood. The shape of it is very interesting, very intriguing. I bet it's a cool view of the hood from the driver's seat. I don't like the back. The taillights are like too small almost. It just looks a little thrown together in the back. You know what? It looks okay. It's okay. It's not my favorite, but it's, you know, who cares? This car is going to be a lot of fun, right? And it's not like a big 1,000 horsepower V12, right? This is a reasonable, you know, actually fun track car that you can toss around, and it's street legal. So, I mean, arguably, it's kind of like the Miata effect. This is probably the most fun on this whole list you could have, because you're not going to be, you know, stepping on the throttle in this, and it's going to be like opening, you know, a portal. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be reasonable, manageable power in this. I bet this is actually a lot of freaking fun to drive, maybe the most fun here. We're finally ending it with this one, Donkervort D8 Cosworth. This is a Dutch supercar. This is insane. Outlandish sports car built with zero compromise attitude. It has a turbo 4-cylinder from Ford Sierra Cosworth. I'd say they're pretty reputable, huh? No driving aids, and weighs just 1,398 pounds. I'm going to round up. Okay, I'm sorry to do you dirty. 1,400 pounds. That is extremely light. Ridiculously light, actually. It only has 280 horsepower, but when you're in a car that light, doesn't matter. It's going to be fast. And, you know, 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds is no joke at all. It reminds me, like it said up here, of a Caterham. I think that's what they're called. I've heard of the Caterham 7 before. This looks very similar, although maybe it's better, right? You guys got to hash it out in the comments. Do you take the Caterham 7 or do you take a Donkervort? I probably said that wrong. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I'm sure you'll roast me for my pronunciation. It's okay. It's well-deserved. That one is interesting. I like it. I just don't... The whole, like, kind of really small open cars don't appeal to me as much. I respect them. And, again, this would probably be tons and tons of fun to toss around. Part of it, I think, comes from... I'm not fitting in this thing. My head's going to be up here. It's going to be a ugly sight. Let's just say that. That was a lot of fun. Those are truly 11 cars I've never heard of from Europe, although I'm going to knock that down to 10 because I did hear of that Renault 5 Turbo. That thing is pretty cool. So they didn't get me totally. But the other 10, yeah, I had no idea. Which one of these vehicles would you take in your garage? I would love to hear about it. Hell, maybe even own one of these already. This was fun. I appreciate you being here. It's the weekend. Have a great one. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.